Okay, hello everyone and welcome back, SoupaSoka. Today we've got some exciting news. We're going to talk about legacy servers among the World of Warcraft community and Blizzard's response to this petition, this change.org petition. So this petition, if you don't know about it, you probably do. If you don't, it came out about 3 or 4 weeks ago, right after the death of the nostalrius private servers. So those nostalrius servers, if you haven't heard about them, they were created by a team called nostalrius Begins, and they were vanilla World of Warcraft servers. So this was before the Burning Crusade came out. No expansion content, and this is progressive content. It started with Molten Core and Onyxia, and worked its way up to Blackwing Lair, and then Ankurash was going to come out soon, and then eventually Naxxramas. But that was killed by Blizzard's lawyers. They sent a cease and desist, and nostalrius shut down. In response, the nostalrius team created this change.org petition. We're going to look at it on the screen right here. So legacy servers among the World of Warcraft community. They sent this to the Blizzard Entertainment CEO, Mike Morhaime, and it was almost 250,000 signatures. That's 250,000 people have signed this petition, almost, in just a few weeks. And what this petition is basically asking, you can read it yourself. I'll put the link, and if you want to sign it, you probably should. I'll put the link in the description below from this video. But basically, what it's saying is that these are fans of Blizzard's games. They've been playing for a long time. They really appreciate vanilla World of Warcraft, and what they're looking for is for Blizzard to change their policy. What they basically want is for Blizzard, this message you can read here in highlights. This message is written in hopes that changes may be made possible in the link between Blizzard and the volunteer-based legacy servers. That's the hope. And I think we're a long way off, but I think it might happen. So here's what's happened since then. So, looking at the official WoW forums, it says, "To the WoW community" is the title. This is posted by community manager Nethera, and she's posting this, but it's actually written by J. Allen Brock, the vice president at Blizzard Entertainment. So it starts off, we're going to read this line by line, we're going to go through it, we're going to dissect it. We wanted to let you know that we've been closely following the nostalrius discussion, and we appreciate your constructive thoughts and suggestions. Good, Blizzard. Great. We know they knew. There's no way they haven't heard about it. We've been tweeting at them. We've been unsubbing from their games. We've been posting on Reddit. We've been posting on their official forums. We've been spamming them, saying we want vanilla servers. So it's good to know, and I appreciate that they're replying to us, saying, okay, we hear you guys. We know you want something. We're listening. That means a lot. I mean, it's really a nice step. It shouldn't have taken this long, but I appreciate it. I really do. So we're going to move on. It says, "Our silence on this subject definitely doesn't reflect our level of engagement and passion around this topic. We hear you, blah, blah, blah. We're fans of vanilla WoW." Fine. Okay. Good. I'm glad you guys like it too. So, we've been discussing classic servers for years. It's a topic every BlizzCon, okay? They've been talking about this for a long time. And then, here's the key. Here's where this matters. Some of our current thoughts. So we're going to hear about their thoughts. So, we haven't heard their thoughts in years. They pretty much will just say, no, you don't want that. You won't enjoy vanilla WoW. We can't do it. We lost the code. We've modified the code. It doesn't exist anymore. They basically have spent years giving excuses and telling us what we want or what we don't want. That's all we've ever said to us. So maybe we're going to hear something new today. I'm hoping for it. So this is what they say. Why not just let nostalrius continue the way it was? That's the question many of us have asked. And the honest answer is, failure to protect against IP infringement would damage Blizzard's rights. This applies to anything that uses WoW's IP, including unofficial servers. That's true. Blizzard is correct. This is a major problem with intellectual property in general. This isn't just specific to WoW, of course, but anytime you have a copyright or trademark, you have to protect that IP. If you don't do so, you can basically lose your rights to defend it in court later on. You can think of this as the modern-day Xerox, or the Pepsi and Coke fiasco, or Kleenex tissues. All of these things, those companies fight very hard to make sure people don't call other copier machines Xerox machines. Make sure they call their soda Pepsi and Coca-Cola and don't interchange them. They fight to make sure people say that's a facial tissue, not a Kleenex. Our brand is the only Kleenex brand facial tissue. They fight for these things because it's important. They spend a lot of time, a lot of money to develop their products, and then have to protect them. Blizzard's right. I'll give them that. They're certainly correct that they have to defend it. But let's move on. So, and while we've looked into the possibility, there is not a clear legal path to protect Blizzard's IP and grant an operating license to a pirate server. I'm not going to focus on them calling nostalrius a pirate server. So first of all, I'm not a lawyer. I have no legal expertise, so everything I'm saying here is just my personal opinion. I'm not giving legal advice to anyone. However, is nostalrius a pirate server? Probably. It probably is. It's hard to say because the fact that they're creating a server for a game that no longer exists in that form. Significant differences have occurred. Sure, World of Warcraft as the MMORPG does exist, but is the launch 2004 World of Warcraft really the same as what's going to come out in Legion in a month or two? I would argue no, and I think in court there's an actual case that could be made saying that they're different enough that it's no longer pirating because it doesn't exist. But I'm not a lawyer, I'm not arguing that. We're going to ignore that for now. Instead, let's focus on what they say. There is not a clear legal path to protect Blizzard's IP. I disagree with that strongly. I think that's an excuse. That's what we would call an excuse in reality. That's what we call an excuse. Here's why. Okay, this is EverQuest's official website, everquest.com. An update and announcement from Project 1999. So, history lesson. EverQuest was a huge MMORPG that came out in the late 90s and was amazing. A very good game. Very tough. Much less friendly to casual players or to new players than the World of Warcraft when it came out in 2004. However, what Sony Online Entertainment, they were the owners of EverQuest at one point, they sold the rights to the game eventually to a company called Daybreak Game Company LLC. It's highlighted on the screen. Instead, what eventually happened, 21 expansions later, EverQuest, a huge game, it's changed a lot. It's just like the World of Warcraft, where the launch, 1999 EverQuest, is not the same as the 21 expansions later EverQuest, like, 8-10 years down the road. Just like Warlords of Draenor and Legion are not the same as vanilla World of Warcraft. That's fine. It's okay to have different games. It's okay to have your game change. It should change to some extent. But that doesn't mean me and other people can't want to play the original version of the game and enjoy it. Even if it's not perfect, it's what we enjoy. So, in this case, Project 1999 was a fan project, a non-for-profit fan project, developed by people that wanted the original EverQuest. And that's what they literally did. They created a private server for EverQuest from the original release, 1999, and they did progressive releases of expansions from there, and eventually, this company, Daybreak Game Company LLC, who bought EverQuest from Sony Online Entertainment, went into an agreement with Project 1999, or P99. Here's what they say. It's been an exciting year for Project 1999, and we have some exciting news that we've been really anxious to share with you all. By the way, this occurred in early 2015, so this isn't something that happened 10 years ago. This is a recent event in the last year, so the legal precedent is now set just recently. So, as some of you may be aware, in the past there has been both confusion and concern over the status of Project 1999. We have recently entered into a written agreement, so I assume it's a legal agreement, with the Daybreak Game Company LLC that formally recognizes Project 1999 as a fan-based, not-for-profit classic EverQuest emulation project. So, these fans of this game that they loved created a server and came to an agreement with the owners of the IP, Daybreak Game Company LLC, and Daybreak Game Company LLC said, we support you. You may go ahead and make your emulation project. It says the agreement establishes the guidelines that we as a project must follow, but it will allow us to continue to update the game without risk of legal repercussions. As a good show of faith to support the efforts of Daybreak Games, we've decided to reschedule our expansion release as to not conflict with the upcoming new progression server being released in the coming weeks. So these two people, they're working together. We have a private fan project for this Project 1999, creating the vanilla EverQuest private server, and the owners of the EverQuest IP, Daybreak Game Company, said, you may do that, go ahead, let's work together, let's try not to fight each other, and you may do so, we won't sue you. They came to this agreement, and everyone is happy, everyone has won in this case. That's the legal precedent that Blizzard needs to set, or should set, for nostalrius. We go back, they say, there is not a clear legal path to protect Blizzard's IP. I'm not a lawyer, guys, but it's literally right there. Someone else has done this. They haven't lost the EverQuest IP. You don't see people making EverQuest movies and EverQuest video games and stealing the EverQuest name because they've lost the rights to it. The Daybreak Game Company, by the way, Daybreak Game Company LLC, that's a weird name. Whatever. They still own the rights to EverQuest. They haven't lost it. What does Blizzard want? So, then they say, and grant an operating license for private server. Okay. Basically, this paragraph means, right here, this paragraph I'm highlighting, Blizzard has no idea what they're talking about, which I don't believe for a second, or they don't want to do it, which I do believe. And I think this is what they're kind of fudging things, they're making it muddy for us. Don't believe that, because we know there's examples of this. It's fair to say EverQuest and emulation of EverQuest is not a one-to-one comparison to vanilla World of Warcraft, or World of Warcraft and emulation of vanilla World of Warcraft, but what I'm saying is their possibility exists. I'm not a lawyer. I'm certain a smart team of lawyers could say, Blizzard, we can write up a contract that says nostalrius or some other people may have a private server, but they will not infringe on your rights. They will follow X, Y, and Z, and if they don't, A, B, and C will happen to them. I'm sure a team of lawyers could do that. But Blizzard, I don't think wants to. Let's move along. We explored options for developing classic servers, and none could be executed without great difficulty. That's what we call an excuse, Blizzard. That's what we call a difficulty, as you just said. It's a difficulty. It's a tough thing. That's true. So, now, if it's not cost-effective, then just say you can't afford to do it, we'll lose money. Come out and be honest with us, and then maybe people will understand where you're coming from. They don't say anything about costs. They literally say they can't do it because it's hard. Hard. Okay, it's too difficult. Fine. Except a team of volunteers have done it. So, I don't know, Blizzard. Okay, if we could push a button and all this would be created, we would. Again, if it was easier, they would do it. I don't know if I believe them. I think the button they need to push is the button that calls their lawyers and says, hey guys, talk to nostalrius, write up an agreement, and let's see what we can do to allow them to continue their server, and maybe we can make some money off it, or maybe we can at least protect our IP. Push the button that calls your lawyers, Blizzard. That's what you need to do here. However, there are tremendous operational challenges to integrating classic servers, not to mention the ongoing support of multiple live versions of every aspect of WoW. That's fair. I agree with that again. If Blizzard were to create their own vanilla servers, that would be difficult for them, because when vanilla World of Warcraft launched in 2004, Battle.net, the launcher, did not exist. There was no kind of infrastructure there. This cross-game communication did not exist. For Blizzard to go back to vanilla WoW, let's say they do have the source code, which they say they don't. Let's say they do have the original code of, like, version 1.0 of World of Warcraft. Let's say they have that. And if they do have it, it will not just launch in a Battle.net. It doesn't work that way. They'll have to actually integrate it. That's a lot of work. I agree with them. That's a ton of work. So, my advice, don't integrate it. Don't, just give us the executable file. Just like it used to be in 2004. I clicked the wow.exe, boom, there it was, login screen. That's all we need. That's what it was in nostalrius, and that works fine. And yes, it would be great if it had, cross-game chat so we could talk to our friends in StarCraft 2, but, we don't have to have that. And maybe that's a big holdup for the upper people in Blizzard, and they won't allow anything to go forward without that integration, but I think it certainly is possible if they can get over that. But that's this step, is getting over that limitation. So, I'll agree. Operational challenges do exist. It's very hard to integrate a classic game into the modern Battle.net setup. So don't do it. Just get the original game up and running as is. Don't add anything extra. So, let's move along. So, what can we do to capture the nostalgia of when WoW first launched? You don't have to do anything to capture that nostalgia. Just release it. We will have fun. There were hundreds of thousands of people were playing nostalrius, and they were killing everything. They were going through Molten Core. They went through Blackwing Lair. They went through Zul'Gurub. They were waiting for Ankarash. I mean, this is not a matter of, kind of capturing the nostalgia or, reigniting some nostalgia. The nostalgia is there. You don't have to capture it. Just release the damn game, and we will have our nostalgic feelings fulfilled. That's all it is. Just release it. You don't have to capture it. It's there. Just let it go. Let us enjoy it. So, over the years, we have talked about a pristine realm. This is where their post takes a nosedive, in my opinion, and this is where we should not be blindfolded and kind of fall for what I think is basically a trap. I think this is their way of convincing us to be acceptable, or accept this alternative to a vanilla server. Let's read ahead. So in essence, that would turn off all the leveling acceleration, including character transfers, heirloom gear, character boosts, recruit a friend bonuses, WoW tokens, and access to cross-realm zones, as well as group finder. First of all, that is the laundry list of gross, terrible things that have largely eroded the fun out of modern WoW. That's a great list right there of if someone says, well, why do you like vanilla WoW more than modern WoW? Just copy and paste this to them, you're done. Okay, you're not done, but that's a big chunk of it. Those things are terrible, and on private servers that allow things like character boosts or purchasing in-game gold, those servers are not the popular servers. Yes, they exist. Certainly, there's a market for them. There absolutely is. But, for me personally, I want a vanilla server, not a vanilla server with character boosts. So, the private servers that run those things, I generally will avoid it to the best of my ability. Nostalrius was the best case for that. Nothing like that, as far as I know, exists now. There are some close alternatives, but nothing is quite as good as nostalrius was, in my opinion. So, what they're saying is, they're talking about flipping a switch and turning off all these things. We aren't sure whether this version of a clean slate is something that would appeal to the community, and it's still an open topic of discussion. I'm going to cut Blizzard off right there. And first of all, I appreciate this. I appreciate a company that will come out and say, we hear what you want, we can't do that for whatever reason, we're considering alternatives. I think that's great. I really appreciate Blizzard's comment. I appreciate the time they took to, consider these things. But I can tell you right now, no one wants a pristine realm in Warlords of Draenor. No one wants that. Maybe someone does. I'm wrong. Maybe someone does out there want that. But the vanilla community, that's not what they want. That's not what I want. I want vanilla WoW. I don't want Legion without being able to buy a level 100 character. I mean, that's great. That's nice. It's better than probably what Legion will be, in my opinion. But it's not vanilla WoW. It's completely different. I don't even know what you can compare this to. It's like playing like Madden NFL 1994 versus Madden NFL 2004 and saying, well, we'll just make the 3D graphics in 2004 a little blurrier and then it's Madden 1994. No, it's not Madden 1994. This isn't vanilla WoW. This is pristine realm Warlords of Draenor. I appreciate it. I do. But this is a waste of time. Blizzard, my biggest fear here is Blizzard is going to make this pristine realm in Warlords of Draenor or probably Legion, and then no one will join it. And then they'll say, look, we released a vanilla WoW server with all the features you don't want, and no one joined, so that's the end of this discussion, and we're just going to shut down all your private servers. My greatest fear is that they will release this pristine realm, and no one will go to it because it's not what anyone asked for, and then they'll use that as their example every time their CEO says, well, what about those vanilla realms people are talking about? We're like, well, we tried that, and no one went to it, so we're never going to do that again. That's my greatest fear. And Blizzard, if anyone out there in Blizzard happens to watch this video, just don't make a pristine realm like this. It's a waste of time. It really is. Some people will enjoy it, I'm sure, but it's not going to scoop up the vanilla community. It just won't do it. No, it's just not. Move along, last little bit here. One other note, we've recently been in contact with some of the folks who operate in nostalrius. They obviously care deeply about the game, and we look forward to more conversations with them in the coming weeks. That right there, that is the best thing. That is a silver lining. That is the best thing that has come out of this entire post. What this means, and I have no idea. I have no idea what the nostalrius team might be talking to them about, and I have no idea if the nostalrius team can ever tell us. For all we know, they're signing non-disclosure agreements, and we will never hear a word about this discussion. What's going on behind closed doors. I'm hoping we will, and I think we will, but we never know. We won't know yet anyway. This is the best thing to me. What I'm hoping is nostalrius is saying, Blizzard, here is all of our information, here are all of our numbers, here's how we modified the game files, here's how we recreated this vanilla experience, here's our best advice for what you can do, and then Blizzard saying, well, what about this or that? And then nostalrius hopefully has, some comeback, some more advice. And that is what I'm hoping for. And gosh, I would be so happy if the nostalrius team gets hired by Blizzard. If there's any justice in the world, the people behind nostalrius will get picked up by Blizzard as a small team, and they will be the lead architects, or maybe like they'll work with the main WoW team to develop the vanilla WoW official Blizzard servers. I'd be so happy. So this right here, this highlighted part, that is the best thing to come out of this entire discussion, and I'm hoping so strongly this turns into something worthwhile. As a closing, so you, the Blizzard community, are the most dedicated, passionate players out there. We thank you for your constructive thoughts and suggestions. We are listening. So basically, first, I really appreciate Blizzard's time. This is great. This is what we have been wanting for weeks now. I mean, this is what we wanted for years. This is what we've been definitely wanting for weeks when we've been pushing so hard with that change.org petition. But this is not enough. I don't mean to sound like an entitled internet rage nerd guy, and I'm really not angry. I promise I'm not angry. I'm just excited. This is really exciting to me. But what I'm hoping for is that Blizzard will keep up with this. They'll keep talking to the nostalrius team. And in the meantime, what we should do as a community, if people that want to play vanilla WoW, you need to keep pushing. And I'm not saying don't attack Blizzard, don't burn down their house, don't insult them on Twitter, don't, cuss at them on their forums, don't attack game masters in-game on modern live WoW. Don't do anything like that. We're adults here. We want something, and there's a company that could maybe give it to us. So what we need to do is petition. We need to keep tweeting at them saying, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? We really want a vanilla server. Hey, I'm going to stop subscribing to your Warlords of Draenor game because I just can't enjoy this WoW anymore, but I would like to play vanilla WoW. So put that in the comments when you unsubscribe. Post on their forums and, discuss new ideas to make vanilla servers. Post on the Reddits, post on NeoGAF. Post and talk to them, but be constructive. Don't insult people. Act like an adult. I see a lot of people just are so angry and have so much hatred for Blizzard right now, and that's not what we want. The last thing we need to do in anything in life, the last thing you need to do is insult people to get your way. Just, be constructive. That's all I'm saying. So you'll find me on my YouTube channel, you'll find me on Reddit, you'll find me on Twitter, you'll find me around pushing still and just kind of basically pestering Blizzard and saying, I really want to pay you for this service. Will you provide it? But that's mostly the summary of what's going on here. I think Blizzard did a good job of replying, but I think there's three key things here overall. One, I appreciate their comment. It's great to know that they are listening. That's an awesome sign, especially talking to the nostalrius team. Two, it's a lot of work for them is what they're saying. They're saying it's too difficult to do, and I don't really buy that. I basically, if it was worth it to them financially, they would make it happen, and I think that they just don't want to do it, is my argument. I think that means they need to find an alternative. So, first, they've replied to us and said they're interested and they're listening to us. Maybe not interested, but they're listening. That's a good start. Second, they say it's too hard, they cannot do it. That means third, they need to find an alternative. Their alternative, pristine realms, don't buy that. Fight against that. Let them know specifically, say, you do not want a pristine realm, that is not what you want. What you want is a vanilla realm. Pristine vanilla, actually, is what we really want in this term. We want a pristine vanilla realm without all this stuff, and vanilla WoW. So let them let them know that third thing, that's what you want. And finally, don't fall for that pristine realm either. That's the other thing. I'm scared, really scared, that they're going to do something to kind of trick us. Not trick us, but use that as an example as to why vanilla realms won't work. Don't fall for that. Don't let that happen. Keep pushing against it. Finally, I think what we really need, just let the nostalrius team, let them make their own server. That's that third point that needs to happen. Instead of the pristine realm, the alternative, let a separate group of people create it, write up an agreement with them, just like EverQuest did. EverQuest Project 1999, they had another agreement. It worked great. It's still going great. That's what needs to happen. So that's all for today. Please keep following this. Keep vocalizing what you want. If you don't want vanilla realms, if you're a modern WoW player and you think vanilla realms are stupid, then tell Blizzard that. Just tell them what you want and do it politely. Do it as an adult, and I think we're going to get somewhere. I'm optimistic at this point that something is going to happen. It might be a year from now. It might be 2 years. But I think Blizzard is listening enough now, and I think we've made enough noise that something somewhere will happen, and we just have to help direct that towards the nostalrius type of realm, not a Warlords of Draenor style pristine realm. But that's all for today, so thank you guys for watching. Comment below if you have any thoughts on this. I'd really like to hear more about this from people, and I'll see you next time.